idea, we do the service, and so the congregations are sacrificing, but there's so many different ways to do this, and I think we always, like we're talking about here, it's like I think we're not talking about enough about all the different type of options that might be better than the ones that just are easy.
No, I definitely agree, and that kind of leads into the topic of what's going on now with the debates. And the S&P, from my just observing it and then reading something on it and hearing all these conversations about it, it was set up for those type of situations right there. Because the church you just talked about, the one, I know it's a real church, but for me, it's, in a hypothetical situation with that setting, if they had somebody in that community who was a faithful member, maybe an elder or somebody who was planted in the community, has a job, is making his means, and he's living life, and he's okay here, he might not be able to go to seminary for those years and then come back. The reason why is because now he has to come back and find that $100,000 job again, and that job has to be flexible for him to be able to do this, where he's missing the tenure that he's already had. I want to address that first before I got to the end. Because I've heard all these rebuttals from people that's never been remote, that's been pastors their whole life, and there's nothing wrong with that. But I don't think they understand those circumstances. The S&P kind of was set up to where it's like, okay, we will work with this situation right here to make this feasible and possible so someone can get trained by the seminary professors. The people training these classes that are for the S&P and for my program, other programs, these aren't just like some random guys. Like, I've had Dr. Bierman as my professor. I've had, your cats are going crazy, but I love that, man. I want to see the fight. But I forgot my other pastor's name. Dr. Parks. We had a few scholars, brilliant men. I have a Greek professor, Dr. E. He's been studying Greek his whole life. Has a PhD. Man, these people aren't slouches. So if there's a way you can get this quality top tier education and help those random small, I won't say random, but them small unique situations, there has to be a way we can make it work. And a lot of times, this will be kind of rabbit hole, but people will take that unique, nuanced situation and then say, see, we should have remote seminary. And it's like, you're taking the unique situation we're trying to fix and adapt to blow things up and have this whole new dynamic, which doesn't fit the context. I was talking to this one guy online, and he basically was saying that, I'll get to it later on, but he's talking about there should be no age limit on seminary. Like we should have a 21-year-old senior pastor somewhere going. Like, I'm like, bro, what? Like, well, Timothy was. We can go to that later on, but it was a whole ordeal. But S&P wasn't for that, and it's kind of being hijacked, that conversation, for open remote seminary. And I'm for we can have that conversation. But the S&P, if we're talking about the S&P, is not built for that. It's not geared for that. That wasn't the heart of it.
Yeah. And even when I listen to that conversation and people advocating it, they will still always inject the case that you're talking about. It's typically Alaska, where it's like somebody in Alaska, or it's a foreign language situation where the SMP guy is like, he has a specific language skill that is in place. He needs to stay there, because if he leaves, that whole thing will fall apart. And that's, for me, that's why the SMP has always, that's always how it's been pitched. And
Right.
every time someone brings it up, and then I go online and see, well, in Michigan, we have 3 SMP pastors in our congregation. And it's like, that was not what we signed up. That was not why we had to get an extra associate that's in-house. That's not what we, agreed
Exactly.
to. That, right?
Oh, exactly. And then the SMP, which people don't like this part of it, but I understand the need of it. Why, if someone goes the SMP route, they have to stay in that area. So it's not like, oh, I can do the SMP route. And like how the people I don't want to make it sound like I said, I have a problem with both sides. I agree with a lot of stuff on both sides, but I have no problem saying something to both sides. The people on the side I don't want to use right, left, because people have dichotomy with that. You know what I'm saying? I could do straightforward. You know what I'm saying? But the people on the anti side, they make it sound as if, the people are doing this is a shortcut route. And I can see that, but the S&P wasn't made for that. And then on the other side, the people who are forward are saying they should be able to go anywhere they want to. You're missing the context. This is to help this is more church focused. This church, these beautiful saints need someone to lead their congregation, and we're doing something for those saints. We're not doing something to make the path to pastor a new route. No, we're doing something because we have to help these saints. As you mentioned, so a language issue, a pastor in Alaska, I would use more intimate personal ones where it's like places to where people won't go. Like, for instance, California, I hate to say it, but if you're not from California, you might look at that as a sin den. That's Satan's backyard. I'm not going there. It costs too much. Taxes are out of control. The politics, the way people are living. Why go there? There's people in my district that are saying a lot of our pastors we try to keep. Not saying like at their home church, but within the region because they know the dynamic. They know the expectations of salary and how to make it work and how it is feasible. You just have to operate a certain type of way. Someone coming from another area might not understand that. Like if you drop me off in New York, I'm gonna try to get a car, and you don't need a car. I need a car. I need a car. I don't know if you need a car. But I need a car. I just won't understand the dynamic. So it's a sad conversation that's going on, and both sides have their agendas. It seems like, but they're missing the point. And a lot of times they're using the S&P to achieve their agenda, and that's not fair to the S&P.
So I'm a delegate to the convention next year, and when